And welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Let's focus on the termite, folks, and you see their website right there. As the weather gets warmer here in the spring, and heck, it's 80, home construction is going to start picking up this time of year. That means that a lot of folks are going to be looking for pre-construction treatment for termites. It's kind of a standard deal. A lot of contractors sometimes are slow on that. They do it at the last minute. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, perfect to call. They are quick to respond. So if your house is going up soon, get a termite pre-treat, as they call it, from Southeast Termite and Pest Control, in the business for 40-plus years. All right, want to welcome in the next round of panelists. These are our basketball guys for the day. We have Mark Pankratz right here. We got Mike Strange right there. And joining us, VFL, Isaiah Victor back with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. They saved the best for last. And if you know, it's a little like a bowl game. You remember that last thing. So for Tennessee basketball, it had been kind of a rough slog this year. You knew it was going to be going into the season. The last 2 weeks, those last 4 games without Kevin Punter when he got hurt, misery, just getting their rumps kicked. All of a sudden, heart, effort, determination, anything, bravado, attack, anything John Majors would say. They brought it in Nashville, had a 3-day run. Talk to me about ending on a positive note and how that can impact momentum moving forward.
I'm anxious to hear what the real players got to say about that.
I think there's a lot of ways. Obviously, it's exciting. I think it says a lot about Coach Barnes. It says even as much about Armani Moore and the leadership that these guys had and the way they came together. It shows the importance of Dietrich Mostella and Robert Hubbs. I mean, those two guys stepped up. And it wasn't necessarily, yes, we can talk about their point production, but as you talked about, it was their effort, it was their tenacity, and that comes from leadership. This time of year where really there's nothing to play for, the brotherhood that they showed with playing for Kevin Punter says a lot about this leadership for the program moving forward.
Isaiah, as a player, you've been in situations, well, when you were at UT, you won every year, but you've been in situations, I'm sure, overseas where you get to a point, all right, we're not that good this year. So what? What did it say to you as a former player to see them give the kind of effort they did when really there was nothing left to play for at the end?
It was big. I do think there was something to play for, though. They thought they could win the SEC tournament, and they thought they could do it with their effort and hustle, and they gave a good shot at it. So, and towards the end of the year, it was probably devastating when Punter went down, and he's the main guy, so it probably took him a while to get over that. But I don't think it's really much they could have did the last 2 weeks, even if they won, the last 4 games. That wouldn't have got them into the tournament. No. But so they probably had everything in their heart. Marty Moore's a senior, and Reese is a senior. So they wanted to give it one last whirl and give a shot at going dancing. And that's what they did, and they had a good job down there.
How much can that carry over confidence-wise into off-season workouts and everything else? I mean, it seems to me that Rick Barnes now has something he can point to and say, see, this is what I'm talking about, especially with Mostella and Hubbs, and we'll get into the Hubbs-Barnes relationship in a second. But those guys particularly, he had been writing them about their effort for much of the season, and certainly toward the end of the season. They go out there and they give the effort, and all of a sudden this team is knocking off teams that no one thought they would. How much can that help this team and those players from their mindset in terms of, oh, okay, this is what he's talking about. This is what he's capable of.
Yeah, they show that they have that fifth gear to go to that other effort level, and I'm sure he didn't mean offensively, but I know he's a defensive-minded coach, and they play together. They played for one purpose. It seemed like everybody was on the same page out there, so they're starting to get it. And his style is. I don't think he's going to compromise his style any. So either you're going to play his way or you're just not going to play. So as long as you're playing his way, they're going to have a good relationship. If he doesn't play his way, it's going to be a bad relationship, point blank period.
Mike Strange.
I thought 2 things. For the seniors, a guy like Devin Balkman, Armani Moore, Derek Reese, I was glad to see them go out feeling good about themselves instead of, like you said, the last 2 weeks were so brutal. But for the guys coming back, like you mentioned, to Dietrich Mostella, for those guys, for Admiral Schofield, I think being in that setting, being in a tournament setting, a little spotlight on you and just doing what they did, I think that does give them a little confidence that they need.
And it's what they do with that confidence because yes, it's a point to Coach Barnes. He can use that to say if you play the right way, you focus on the right things and focus on your effort, you're going to have positive results. That's great, but we're still finished 12th, 13th in the league.
Right.
So now it's what are we going to do with that momentum? And it's these guys getting in the gym and saying, like some of the comments you saw, Schofield wanting to be like the next Armani Moore. That was his comment. It's Robert Hubbs. It's my turn. I got to step up. So now you take some of that confidence and it gets you in the gym, and you use these next 7-8 months to really improve, because it's not good enough yet, but the foundation is being set.
A couple of weeks ago, Rick Barnes said of Robert Hubbs, well, I don't have any expectations there anymore. That made big news. We discussed it on this show. And when you say something like that, that's basically saying, okay, I'm done with you. Obviously not. Obviously, it got through. Something got through, whether it was sitting on the bench, whether it was the tough love from Rick Barnes, something got through at least for this week. I think most people believe Hubbs will be back. He made some comments that sounded like he was coming back, going to be the only senior. Mostella probably going to be coming back. The Barnes-Hubbs relationship, though, is it, we probably all overreacted 2 weeks ago. Is it an overreaction now to say everything's hunky-dory? Where is that relationship right now, do you think?
Well, I don't think we overreacted. I don't think Coach Barnes should have said that publicly, to make those comments to where you feel like you're done with them. But I do think what we don't see is behind the closed doors, and Barnes does a great job of loving on them. I think they're fine, and because now Hubbs knows, look, I got to be the man. Why would I leave now? I got to be the man. I get the 20 minutes.
Is there any problem with tough love from a coach with those kind of comments?
You got to have it. Without discipline, you can go nowhere. So I don't think it's irreconcilable differences. I think, especially on the player's end, he knows he has to step up. On the coach's end, now he has less. So Hubbs has got to be worth more to him. So he needs them a lot more than he ever has. So I think they'll be able to work it out.
For all the comments, Mike, and there were a lot about how this is going to impact recruiting and everything else, in the end, it does look like Barnes reached him.
I don't know. I mean, you saw Robert Hubbs at different times. Yes, he's hot. No, he's not doing anything. So I don't know if this reached him or if he was just on a high cycle. I don't know what makes him tick sometimes. And maybe we don't give him, maybe we're a little too hard on just overlooking his knee situation. Maybe that's a bigger deal than we realize. So, but I think Robert Hubbs likes being at Tennessee. He's going to be a senior. I don't think he's going to go transfer and sit out somewhere or go to a NAI school. I think he'll be.
I think it would be, if you're leaving, it'd be for Europe or something. I don't see that happening.
Hubbs has had 3 coaches in 3 years. That's unbelievable for what he's had to go through. He's been injured, but Hubbs is also the type of kid that, yes, he ended on a positive note. He's the one you worry about most. Do you handle it the right way by getting your tail in the gym and improving, or do you feel like, look, I got by doing what I've been doing, and I still was able to produce 19 points? The season for next year is going to hold a lot on Robert Hubbs' development.
Very good. Gentlemen, we'll have you guys back a little. Isaiah and Mark will have you back a little bit later for one more segment of basketball talk. When we come back, we took some Twitter and email questions from the viewers. We'll have those questions about Vol football next. Offensive line, going to be playing any more under center, that kind of stuff. Come on back to the Sports Source.